Hello, my name's Denny, and this is my plant-based journey. And today we're going to do an update on some stats, but also answer some questions that I've been asked in some of the other videos. I hope you're doing well. I had a very good week this week. In fact, I ate very clean. It's one of the cleanest week I have had. The only little tiny I would say shortcoming in the plan. I had a business lunch and I did eat a salad with raspberry vinaigrette, but they had okra and I'm a huge okra fan. And so I had a little bit of okra and it was fried. So I know I had a little oil and more calories than I need from just eating okra. But other than that, I had a good eating plan. And it's been very hot. And out here where I work and the things that I do, I spent time this week in 107-degree heat, 106-degree heat, 104-degree heat, and 102-degree heat. So in addition to the work that I've been doing, the heat that I've been facing, and the food that I've been eating, my weight dropped pretty quick this week. In fact, it's the biggest weight loss week that I've had. I lost about 5 pounds. And so I wanted to share that with you, but also answer a couple of questions. Someone asked, how do I test my blood sugar levels? How do I test my blood pressure? And so I thought I'd just share that with you here on this video and go over how I do these things. Now, certainly when I take my weight, there are ways that you can be more accurate. You can have different scans done on your body that will tell you fat percentage and skeletal percentage and muscle percentages and so on and so forth. But I don't do that. I just use a plain old bathroom scale. I use the same one. I try to use it in the same place, the same way, the same time every week, and that way I try to be as consistent as possible. I'm not trying to be perfect on that. I'm just trying to get healthy. So the bathroom scale works just fine. But how do I test my blood glucose or blood sugar levels? Well, what I use is a monitor called the Essentia Contour. It's made by Bayer, I believe. Yes. And I've had this for a long time. And it requires some strips, these contour strips, and they have an end with a contact. I hope you can see that. Yes, it has a contact that slides in here on this end, and it has a place where the blood, a track, if you will, a track where the blood goes, and it reads, and it will give you a report here on the readout. When you put this in, the screen comes up, it activates the battery, and so I just use these test strips, and I usually just get them at the pharmacy or Walmart. I've ordered them online before. But before you can do that, you have to bleed. And I'm not going to pull out a knife, so what I use is lancets. And I think probably everybody who has diabetes or wants to monitor their health understands what a lancet is. These are from Rely On, and they come 100 in a box. They aren't exactly the ones that were designed for the poker, if you will. I'm sure there's a technical name. We'll call it the hole maker. And it is a spring-loaded microlet, is what it is. And what you do is you take off the cap, you insert one of the lancets, you'll hear it click, it'll load, spring-loaded, then you twist off the protector cap, and there is a fine needle. Oh, I don't think it'll focus on it, but you can see it there. There's a little fine needle that sticks out of this plastic. You put the cap back on it, and it adjusts how deep or how thick or how much blood you want. I have mine set on the next to the deepest level because I just want to stick it and be done. I've done it on the biggest level, but that's too deep and I'd bleed too much. Really, I could go less, but I just want to do it once and be done with it. And I usually have one of these swabs ready to go. It's a little alcohol pad. Those may be hard to find right now. But all you do is you place this against your finger, and there's the blue little pad there is a trigger. And as you do that, you push the spring. You push the button. You hear it click? So it fired off, makes a little hole in my finger. And see what I mean? This time, even though it's on the deep next to the deepest setting, I'm having to squeeze it pretty good to get blood to come out, but I'm bleeding, all right? And so usually I already have the little reader in the Essentia Contour unit, but it will come up, it'll tell you it's ready, and then you just put that blood droplet on the end of that little tab there, and it will count down from 15 seconds. And let's see what it says. I'm seeing this the same time you are. Of course, it's still maintaining in that 100 range. It's at 102. Of course, it's going to look like 501 to you. Don't call the ambulance, but I'm using my telephone right now instead of a camera, so it's a reversed image. But it's at 102, and so I'm maintaining right in that 100 range, 101, 102 that I've had for the last couple of weeks. I'm fine with that for now. I do want to see it come down. Now, I will tell you that it was lower than that earlier this week a few times. Last night for supper, I got in. Again, it was hot. I had been on location. I was tired, and I was not hungry. And so I had a bunch of ice cream, and I don't mean a bunch. I just had like a 12-ounce glass full of ice cream. And, you know, if you don't know what that is, it's just a bunch of frozen fruit that I put in the Vitamix with some almond milk and blended it up. That was my supper. If I had had some other foods, I'm sure this would be down a little bit more, but still 100 is fine. We're not trying to get down to 60 or 70 where you risk during the daytime having issues. That's not a good thing. So I just check my blood sugar using these means, and then you just reverse it. You pull the strip out. I usually put it in the little foil pack that comes with a swab. You take your microlead out, and I stab that microlead back into the lid. That way I don't get stuck accidentally, and if someone else were messing with the trash, they wouldn't be stuck accidentally. I used to keep those things and syringes and all those kind of things in a sharps container, but I don't use syringes very often anymore. And when I did, I wanted to protect my family from those things. Now there's not a need for that. Even when I do use a syringe, it has a cap that goes on it that secures it, and the needle itself retracts. So I don't have to mess with those things very much anymore. That's how I check my blood glucose levels. And so I'm pleased with that. 102. I know as I continue to lose weight and eat healthy and exercise, those numbers will come down. In fact, exercise has a big response on your blood sugar levels. So let's talk about blood pressure. So I wanted to make sure that I had pretty accurate readings. Without buying a professional unit, I wanted something that would be as close to that as I could at home. I've bought a couple of the little plastic cuffs that go on your wrist, and every time you take your reading, it's different. And so I wasn't pleased with that. I didn't like the way it worked, I didn't like the way it felt, and I knew it was inaccurate. So what I did was I went to CVS Pharmacy. That's where my insurance allows me to buy my prescriptions. And so I was at CVS for another reason, and I looked at these monitors, and I found one. This one's called, it's model BP 3MW1-4B, and in parentheses, it's 800-229. 6 numbers, 800-229. And this is a monitor from CVS, and it says CVS Health on the outside. And, you know, all the settings are wrong. I didn't set up the date or time or who the person is or anything like that. But I got it because it had the extra large cuff. And the way this works is just like when you go to the doctor's office, or just like whenever you end up in the hospital, or maybe your company takes it. But it will tell you, here's the artery mark, and this is the place where it needs to go on the inside of your arm. And so you slide this up, leaving this portion where the hose is, the tube, on the inside of the arm. Wrap it around and pull it tight. And to be honest with you, I probably can go back to the standard cuff since my arm is much smaller than it used to be. And then you just push the button to start and stop, and it will give you your reading. Now, I will tell you this. If you are someone who has issues with blood pressure, that's very important right now, especially as we go into the summer, to get your blood sugar and blood pressure down, because it can affect your potential for having heat stroke, having heat exhaustion, any of the heat-related illnesses. You need to drink plenty of water, take rests, monitor your urine output and the color of that urine. You need to protect yourself, especially if you have blood pressure and blood sugar issues, because you can more quickly end up in some trouble from heat stroke or any of the heat-related issues. And so all you do is you push the button and it will begin to take my reading. So I'm going to be quiet. So you hear the motor? Similar to last week, 128/88. So it's dropped a little bit more. I'm glad to see that's continuing. Let me say this too, by the way. When I said I'm going to be quiet, friends, family, former teachers all said, no, he's not. No, he's not. Here's the thing. I'm seeing progress. I'm not trying to be perfect by the end of the day. That doesn't work. This is a long, steady, progressive change that has to happen in my life. I still have a long way to go, but I'm seeing the blood sugar numbers come down. I'm seeing my blood pressure come down. And by the way, this is 128/88 after I've been talking and excited about the video, after taking my blood pressure, after walking outside, after being in the house. If I had gotten up straight out of bed and I went over and took my blood pressure and just sat there and was super calm, I know the numbers would be lower than that. But this is a real world example of what my blood pressure is. And so this is a vast improvement over what it's been. Someday we'll talk about numbers whenever I was at my worst level, and we'll see the contrast between where I was and where I am. So I'm making progress, and I hope you are too. If you're participating in this with me, if you're working on getting healthy, if you're trying to lose weight, bring down your numbers, your vital signs, if you're trying to eat a plant-based diet, tell me how you did this week. Did everything work to your plan? Are you working a plan? Do you have a meal plan? Do you have an exercise plan? Are you getting proper rest? I'll tell you that's one of the hard things for me. Sometimes I don't sleep like I should. What are you doing? Leave it in the comments below and let me know where your struggles are. Let me know where your victories are. Results. Tell me where you're victorious. Tell me where you're struggling. And we'll work on this together. I hope you are doing a great job and kicking it. I know that life is hard and there are always obstacles, and it seems like something comes up on a daily basis that interferes with our progress. But folks, if we just keep ticking away, if we keep on putting one foot in front of the other, if we just keep on moving forward, it works. And I know it works. You know it works. It's just up to us to work it. So how are you working it? Let me know below, and we will talk to you again later. Hope you have a great day. And my name is Denny. This is my plant-based journey. Enjoy the weekend, but let's stay on the healthy path. Have a great weekend.